Welcome into the Miami Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nic Rohloff. After the Heat just dropped Game 4 of the NBA Finals, their second straight loss at home to go down 3-1 in the NBA Finals to the Denver Nuggets. I have a lot of thoughts on this game. I have a lot of thoughts on this Heat roster. I have a lot of thoughts on Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. So stick with us here. We'll go through everything to go with the Miami Heat following a brutal loss. Let's look at the overall box score first. And it starts with the Nuggets defeating the Miami Heat 108-95. The rebounding and assist numbers were pretty accurate. The Heat actually were shooting above 50% at halftime, but only finished shooting 45% from the field. They were 8 of 25 from 3, which is just unacceptable, reverting back to that average that was in the regular season. The Nuggets, though, their offense was just cooking again. 39 of 79 from the field, 49% in totality, and they shot 14 of 28 from 3, led by Aaron Gordon and Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, just absolutely knocking down threes left and right, which is just true backbreakers, for the Miami Heat when you let not so good three-point shooters shoot lights out against you. And you knew this was coming, too, if you were the Miami Heat, because the Nuggets really struggled from three-point land all throughout games 1, 2, and 3, and you knew that wasn't going to continue for the entire series. And then now this was the game that the Denver Nuggets broke out and really were able to put the Heat on their back because they were able to shoot from 3. And we'll start by looking at things for the Nuggets side, and it's Aaron Gordon. You let Aaron Gordon cook you for 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. He shot 73% from the field and made 3 of 4 threes. I mean, you're not going to win a game when you're letting Aaron effing Gordon do this to you. And there was another player that absolutely dominated you as well in Bruce Brown. And that comes off Game 3 when Christian Brown dominated you in that fourth quarter. So the Heat are just getting beat by these Nuggets role players. Yeah, Murray and Jokic have been spectacular and been unbelievable through these 4 games, but you're letting side pieces dominate you. Yeah, that just can't happen. And I think this really comes back to a poor defensive effort and the Heat just not having enough talent to match up with the talent that Denver has. The Heat, 7 undrafted free agents, the dog mentality, Heat culture, that's all fun and games. But when it comes to the actual ability to play, make shots, hit tough contested shots, and defend the talent Denver has, the Heat just don't have enough with it. They were fine to get by against the Milwaukee Bucks because of how good Jimmy Butler was. They got by the Knicks because I don't even think the Knicks honestly have that much more talent than Miami. And then they were able to get by Boston because the Celtics are they're mentally soft, and they didn't have a head coach that even know how to coach in the same league as Erik Spoelstra. But when you have Michael Malone, who is a good head coach, and then the talent the Denver Nuggets have, and you're not getting 45-point triple-doubles from Jimmy Butler, you're not going to win ball games. Aaron Gordon absolutely torched you. Bruce Brown did it as well. Gordon 3 for 4 from 3. Bruce Brown 3 for 5 from 3. You just got absolutely dominated by those 2 role players. They combined for 47 points and 6 of 9 from 3. That simply just can't happen. And the last player I want to look at for the Denver Nuggets before we move on and I go more in depth on our Miami Heat is Nikola Jokic. He had 23 points, 12 rebounds, only 4 assists, and he shot 42% from the field and 3 for 7 from 3. And if you would have told me that Nikola Jokic put up that exact stat line in this game, I would have told you that the Miami Heat won that basketball game, and I would be borderline willing to tell you that they did not only win that basketball game, but they won it handily. Because you only have Jokic score 23 points, and he doesn't even get that involved passing the basketball, you should win that game every single time. And the fact that the Heat didn't is just really disappointing to me because you were able to limit Nikola Jokic, and you couldn't take advantage of it. That's just something that can't happen if you're the Miami Heat and Erik Spoelstra, and now they find themselves down 3-1 in this series, and the only time a team has ever came back in the NBA Finals down 3-1 is the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016 against the Golden State Warriors, And I just don't think the Heat have the talent and firepower to come back from a 3-1 deficit, especially having to win in Denver twice. Games 5 and 7. I don't see it happening at all. Well, we're almost to the offseason. We're down 3-1. The season might be over, and that's why you have to subscribe to the Heat Report. We'll be here for the NBA draft. We'll be here for NBA free agency. We'll be here for all the Miami Heat trade rumors, because I think it's very apparent. Sure, this Heat team, and we can all get wrapped up in how the Heat went on this magical run to the NBA Finals, but there's a reason why they barely made the playoffs. We're 3 minutes away from not even getting in the playoffs because they were going to get bounced in the second play-in game against the Chicago Bulls. There's a reason for that, and there's a lot of roster flaws that Pat Riley and this Heat front office are going to have to address, and we'll have that for you guys all offseason long, so make sure you are subscribed and join the Heat Report. We crossed 1,300 subscribers tonight on our watch party. We will be live for Game 5, so make sure you check us out here as we're on the road for 1,400 subscribers. Now let's look at the Heat's top 3 leading scorers, and it was Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Kyle Lowry. And what's one common theme here? Other than Jimmy Butler, 44%, 42% from the field. Poor shooting once again from the top 3 scorers on the Miami Heat. Kyle Lowry also, those 13 points all came in the first half. He scored 0 points in the second half. After Lowry played so good in the first 24 minutes of this game, failed to even get the ball in the basket once in the final 24. So these Heat shooting numbers aren't pretty, and we can start with Jimmy Butler for the Miami Heat. And I thought Jimmy was really poised to have a big game. I mean, he had 14 points in the first half, and he was shooting very well. He was aggressive. And then he also had 4 assists at halftime. So he was getting people involved while getting his own shot. And now he finishes with 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists on 9 of 17 shooting, which is actually a good box score stat line. But when you're the number 1 for the Miami Heat in a series where you are the less talented team by a superior margin, you're going to have your best player play like Michael Jordan, which is what Jimmy Butler did against the Milwaukee Bucks and the reason why they were able to beat them. So you're not able to overcome these deficits because Jimmy Butler is not playing as well. I'm not even going to fault Jimmy that much. I thought he played decent. Disappointing, obviously. I would have liked to see him try to take over more in that third quarter because he was quiet in that quarter. Tried to take over in the fourth, but it was just too little, too late. Now let's talk about Bam Adebayo, because I love Bam, but he is frustrating me to no end, and I borderline cannot handle this anymore. I still will say, and go to my grave, that Bam is the best defensive player in this league. What he can do in protecting the paint, being able to switch 1 through 5, create deflections. He is such a defensive anchor, and there's a reason why the Miami Heat have had a top 10 NBA defense for the past 4 years since Bam Adebayo has became the starter and got pivotal minutes. But I don't think he can be a second option on a championship-winning team. I know he's been the second option on this team twice as we've gotten to the finals in the last 4 years and been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. I get that Jimmy and Bam have been able to have success for this Heat team and take them far into the playoffs. But I think it's just clear that an inefficient and not consistent player on offense that Bam Adebayo is, you can't have him be your second option. I mean, he's shooting under 50% in this series, and you're a center. I get you're 6'9", and Jokic is 7 foot, but you can get buckets at the rim because you're quicker than him. You're more athletic than him. And Bam Adebayo simply misses too many easy shots. He missed a dunk for tonight, for crying out loud, that caused the game to go into a delay. He missed a couple 8-footers around the rim. And it's just so frustrating to me that he cannot put it all together. Because if he was able to consistently score 24, 25 a night in the playoffs on 50% shooting, I'd be confident enough to say that he would be the best team in this series and probably either have the series tied 2-2 or be up 3-1. But Bam Adebayo simply isn't consistent enough on the offensive end for this Heat team to win a championship, at least when he's the second option. So I know there's been a lot of Damian Lillard trade rumors and just overall rumors this offseason, whether it be James Harden, Joel Embiid. There's a lot out there. But I'll say this right now as we go into our NBA offseason coverage, probably sooner rather than later, because I don't see the Heat winning 3 straight games to win this NBA championship. The Heat will need to get another star to go with Butler and Bam. I think Bam is best well served as the third option on a championship contending team. I will be going to go out there and stop bashing Bam because I think he would be the best third option in the NBA. When you combine his defense and his ability to put up 18 to 20 a game while getting 10 rebounds as a center, that would be the best third option in the NBA. But him as the second with Jimmy Butler, it doesn't work. Jimmy and Bam are fantastic. The Heat have won a lot with them. But when you have 2 defensive-minded players first in an offensive-minded league, you're not going to be able to win. And it's no surprise the Heat have failed to put up 100 points 3 times out of 4 games in this series. You can't get to 100 points in the NBA Finals. You're not going to win. You've held the Nuggets under 110 points all 4 games, which I said was the magic number you needed to do. And you're not able to even put up over 100 points 3 times. That's embarrassing. So bring me someone else who can score the basketball and move Bam to that third option, whether it be a Zach LaVine, a Damian Lillard. You're probably not getting Joel Embiid without trading Bam, so I'll push out Joel Embiid. But those type of players, Bradley Beal, maybe he finally gets traded. But I think Bam Adebayo needs to be the third option. Jimmy can still be the one, but you need a co-star in the wing or in the guard position that can give you a consistent 18 to 25 points a game on efficient shooting. And I know the Heat are missing Tyler Hero, and he's not coming back this series, but I don't know if the Heat are going to be able to win a championship in this Jimmy and Bam window unless they get another player on the perimeter that can give you 20 to 25 a night consistently on efficient shooting while playing some at least average defense. That's my tangent on the Miami Heat. And they are officially down 3-1 in the NBA Finals. And it's not looking pretty. It's very grim for the Miami Heat. Lost 108 to 95. There's a lot of question marks that Heat fans are going to have. I mean, we have a magical run here, but there's a reason why this team, like I said, barely made the NBA playoffs. There's a lot of flaws. It was a cool story. It was a good run. And I hate to be all doom and gloom and negative for you guys because I like to try to be a positive Heat fan and look for the positives in life in general. But I don't really see a way this Heat team could come back from 3-1. They just don't have the talent for it. Jimmy's not 100%. Bam's too inconsistent. And the Nuggets are too damn good. When you have Bruce Brown and Aaron Gordon combined for 47 points, you're not going to win ball games. And I think the Nuggets' depth is too much. And I think the series might be over, and it's going to be a second finals loss for the Heat in the last 4 years. It's pretty depressing, if you ask me. But to try to close on a positive note, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like I've said throughout this video, we'll be here all off season long for your Miami Heat, and hopefully next season, too, for more watch parties. So hit that sub button.